Hey guys, it's Tiffany. I actually decided to come on today and do a quick smoky eye tutorial because I rewatched last night's video and I think it's probably the worst makeup application I've done. So I'm gonna do one and hopefully do it quickly, semi-quickly, Tiffany quickly, so that way you guys can actually see a nice smoky eye application. But I am gonna use the green. So I'm gonna put on a little bit of primer. You guys can see how long it would actually take me to do my makeup. And since last night was not a success, I told you I normally don't do my makeup without foundation. I never do my foundation second. I'm gonna go ahead and do it the way I normally do it instead of trying to go out of turn. Again, some people love it. I just do not. I've been on kind of a foundation kick, and the ones that I, have always loved and trying new ones. This is one of the ones I've always loved, and I just reordered it. And it is MAC Face and Body, and I think it's a favorite out there for a lot of makeup artists because it's just really pretty. It's not a lot, it's not full coverage, but it just kind of is a nice sheer to medium coverage. You can actually build it up. But again, for me, I'm not a real full coverage foundation kind of girl. I like my freckles to shine through. And Duke always knows when I do a makeup application, so he has to come in and hang out. He is definitely a mama's boy, so you guys can't see him back there. I'm sure he'll hang out the entire time we're on. So again, I use foundation first to cover up everything and even out my skin complexion. And then I'll go back in with concealer and I will cover any areas that need a little bit more coverage. So I'm using a foundation brush and actually stippling, which actually gives you the ability to get a little bit more coverage. And so even though I'm using a foundation that has medium coverage, I can get a little bit more coverage if I use this type of application and this type of brush. So, all right, so feeling pretty good about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my concealer. And I'm actually pretty tired, you guys. So you can see it around my eyes. I usually am gonna take it here. I know some people have, something to say about concealer in the eyelids. I like it. Take a little bit around my nose. And I do have some sunspots from all of my years of laying out in the sun. Oddly enough, I have them like right here on the bottom of my face. And I have a little scar there. So I actually like to leave the normally the concealer on for just about 30 seconds. It actually starts to warm up to your body temperature and it gets a little bit thicker and gives you a little bit more coverage. So you can get more coverage actually from using less product. So I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. And then I think I have everything I need. The only thing I did forget to get out was actually a lip liner. So I'm gonna do that while my foundation is setting. And I tell you all the time that I try and be prepared, but clearly I do not always do a fantastic job of that. So, all right, got what I need. So I'm gonna go ahead in and blend out my concealer. Real life, right, guys? Sorry, the dog's barking. But during the day, if he sees any human being, he goes to the door. So again, you guys know with the Beauty Blender, you need to bounce rather than wipe. I'm gonna go ahead and touch all those areas. And then we know in order for us to get good coverage and for it to stay and not crease and not disappear throughout the day, anytime you wear a liquid foundation, I know you hear me preach, you definitely want to set it with powder. Now, depending on your skin type, you may not need to powder everywhere, but you definitely want to powder the areas, especially that you concealed. So under the eyes, if you're covering acne, anywhere in your T-zone if you're oily. So I think, and then you also want to make sure everything's nice and smooth, because once you apply powder, you are setting any lines, anything that's in there, you're going to be setting them in. So I think I'm pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and set my under eye with a little bit of translucent powder. And again, very lightly. You do not need to add a little powder. If you're someone who likes to add a lot for baking because, you know, maybe you don't feel so confident in your eyeshadow application, or you just saw somebody do it on TV, it's not necessary. But some people like it. And it is actually an application that was adopted from back when you saw kind of the drag queen shows. I mean, they do some amazing makeup. So a lot of the techniques that you see, so I'm gonna use a fluffier brush for everywhere else because I just barely want this to be covered. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can say. I thought about not talking. Maybe I should do that. I'm just adding a little bit of lip primer. I'm going to go in first because this is the way I like to do it, and I'm going to do my eyebrows right away because, again, I just like to kind of see my look come together as I do it. I don't think there's a right way as far as application and what you do first. Everyone's a little bit different, so if someone likes to do their eyebrows last, that's okay. I have some more work to do on my eyebrows because, you know, again, back in the 90s, it was very popular to have a thinner brow. Little did I know that if I made it thinner that it would not come back. So some people were lucky enough to have eyebrows that grew back. I, unfortunately, was not one of them. So I do not tweeze my brows this way. However, this is what I'm left with. So on a daily basis, I have to apply eyebrows if I'm in the mood. I'm also one of those people that either is, I say, you know, I either look like I'm going somewhere, going to work, or I look homeless because honestly, it is not unusual to see me out without makeup on. So again, not one of those people. And I'm from a small town, you know, so a lot of people don't, well, I don't want to say they're not into makeup, but some of them don't know the difference between a makeup artist and like someone who sells makeup, you know, on the side. So not too many people are judgy. So I'm just going to leave them like this right now. And you can see I have to kind of build the shape, and then I'll go in and just kind of finish off the fronts. Eyebrows, if you've ever heard this, are supposed to be sisters, not twins. So they do not need to look exactly the same. Don't make yourself crazy. And if you are one of those lucky people that have them exactly the same, wow, give yourself a high five. So I'm going to actually do a green smoky eye. So I'm going to start this look actually with a green eyeliner. So I'm actually going to do the top lid, and I'm going to do my waterline right away. So again, I know I mentioned this last night and before, but when you use the eyeliner as a base, or it kind of works as a shadow primer, you do not need to be real careful. So it kind of goes on a little ugly. You don't have to be very precise, and you can see I'm using the side of the pencil to apply. So I go right up until I feel like, oh, did you see that? Right up until I start to hit my brow bone. And if your pencil breaks for some reason, make sure you have an eyebrow or an eyeliner sharpener close by. The only place I really like to make sure that it's very, very concentrated, if you can see, is right at my lash line, okay? Because we're gonna actually smudge the rest of it out, so that way it works as an eyeshadow primer instead of me actually using a primer. So again, I'm using just the side of my pencil, and I'm kind of dragging, but I'm also kind of dotting it up on my eyelid This look, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, somebody's like, what kind of eyes do I have? Can I do a smoky eye? This look is great for every eye shape. It's especially really good for people who have hooded eyes. But it is going to be a little bit more dramatic, but for someone with hooded eyes, it actually doesn't show at quite as much of the dark color unless their eyes are closed. So just a different option. So again, I'm just reinforcing it right at my lash line, a little bit heavier. And I'm going to go ahead and apply in my waterline all the way in. And I mentioned this last night, I am doing the top of my waterline as well, just in the outer corner. And then what I'm gonna do is just close my eyes really tight, so that way the eyeliner kind of smushes to the top and the bottom. Okay. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and apply my eyeliner to the bottom. So I am going all the way across, again, smoky eye, so I'm gonna go all the way across. And again, if you are not comfortable with applying the eyeshadow, because I am going to be using kind of a messy technique today, I'm going to be using a, so sorry. He literally weighs like 30 pounds and thinks that he is like the meanest dog on the street. So what I was saying, if you don't feel super comfortable using dark shadows and you want to do your foundation second, or you want to just do your foundation, leave that area open, it's totally fine. You can use a makeup wipe or a little bit of primer to clean that area up. After your eyes are finished, you can reapply. So again, totally your choice. So I'm going to actually go ahead in. I'm going to go ahead in with just a little bit of MAC Paint Pot. You can see it's like a greenish brown. It's one of my favorite colors, and it actually mimics the pigment that loose pigment I'm gonna put on. So I'm actually just taking that on my eyelid with a small flat brush, and I'm just like slightly blending out. I mean, I put a very little bit on it, but I'm just slightly blending out the eyeliner. And you can see it's such a cool color. It's got like green in there, and it has a little bit of, they call it a blue brown, but I think it's more like a green brown, and I'm putting green over top of it, so I'm staying with that. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of that, and these can actually be used by themselves. They can be used as a primer. They're very water resistant, so they actually have a really good staying power once they dry down, but they work amazing if you're trying to do more of a dramatic eye and you want like the pigments to really show up. So hopefully this look turns out better than last night's, because last night's wasn't great. But I think more exciting is the interaction that I get to have with all of you, because I always say, I just wish that I could hear you guys and you could talk back to me rather than me just sitting here talking to myself and reading comments. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like this today, but I'm doing it, right? I'm going to try it and see. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a little bit of light and I'm going to go right underneath my brow bone there. And I'm going to come down. So right now, the only thing I haven't touched is that middle crease color. I hear someone outside starting to shovel. I'm gonna have to convince my child. And again, some people will tell you, I think it depends on the application, but as we get a little bit older, to stay away from really shiny. But I think if you have something with a little bit of shine up there, it looks beautiful on everyone. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually just gonna take my brush with kind of like a medium toned, like this one right, yeah, this one right here. And I'm just, it looks a little golden there. It's not actually at all. I'm actually going to do what they call transition color. So that's just the color that's going to help the dark shadow transition between it being so heavy and dark on your, lid, and transition up into that very light area. So that going to go in your crease, and you can see I come up a little bit higher than my crease on that one. So this is your crease, it comes up a little higher. This brush makes it super easy. Again, I've said before, what I love about this brush is that it applies the color with the point and blends it at the exact same time with the outer edges. So it is less work for you, which is always nice, right? Especially if you're not like a huge makeup person. So again, the idea is to make this transition really soft and beautifully, just from dark to light. And I just feel like I missed a little area in there in the corner, and I want to make sure that I get that nice and good. Okay, so this is how I avoid having makeup fall out, is I just brush away after I'm done applying. All right, so the next thing I'm going to use is, this one's a scary one, right? This is the MAC pigment, and you can see it's almost the same color as that shadow that I put on, but it comes in a loose form. So I don't know if you can see, it's literally like little tiny powder. So I didn't get my palette out for you guys today, so I'm actually just gonna put, and I mean, I think that I might have gotten this, I don't know. I mean, it could have been 8 years ago, and look, this is one of my favorite ones, and that's how much is still in there. So I put a little bit too much on, so the good news is I can pour it back in, but this is what it looks like. It's literally like loose pigment, and you definitely 1000% need a flat, firm brush when you're putting this on. If you try to put this on with a fluffy brush, you're going to be in trouble. So I'm going to pick it up on my brush. Okay, I just press it, like press it down, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press it. Woo, look how pretty. I'm going to press that right on to my lid. Oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorites. So whatever's left on it, I haven't put any more. I'm going to go underneath, because anytime you use eyeliner, just like your foundation, you want to definitely make sure you set it right, because we know eyeliners are made of wax. And if they're made of wax, when you heat wax, it warms up and it starts to melt. So what I'm doing is, again, have applied no more makeup, but I'm ever so slightly, just touching up into that crease a little bit, okay? So you can see how metallic and cool. I know for some of you, you would never wear this, but this is where it's makeup, guys. It's just makeup. It's fun, and it washes off. So I'm gonna do the other eye. Again, I patted some on there. I just kind of shake a little bit to make sure that I get it off. And I am going to press it right into place, right on top of that lid. I like it to be really pigmented because, again, I love this color. It is my absolute favorite of the pigments, probably the one I use the most, on myself at least. Okay, and again, whatever's left, I'm going to slightly just go right above where I stopped applying into my crease. That just basically gives me something. See what happened? That's what gives me the ability to blend it away. My little finger rested on my makeup. I got a little boo-boo. Little boo-boo. Okay, so that's the second step. Now, I think you guys know by now that Bare Minerals Warmth is something that I use all the time. So I use what's in the cap, and I like to use that for my blending color. So I'm actually this is gonna be my blush, and this is actually gonna be my crease color. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that, you heard me kind of tap it off, and I'm gonna very lightly, again, this is a more bold, dramatic look. This is beautiful if you're going out to dinner. Probably wouldn't be like I'm going to a picnic kind of look, but you can see I'm just very lightly applying it in my crease. I start to the middle to inner corner, And then I always pull inward. And I do that because I don't want to flick eyeshadow on the outer corner of my eye, okay? So I'm not really windshield wipering right now, but I will when I'm done. Okay, so we're almost done with the eyes already, you guys. So I'd love to hear what you think. You guys can put stuff in the comments, but I love, 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 love a real nice smoky eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and find my eyelash curler, and I'm gonna go ahead and curl my eyelashes quick. We're gonna do something a little special that I normally do. I shared last night, curling your eyelashes is so important. It's definitely gonna help, especially for those people who don't have great eyelashes, which is I am one of them. So I need to make the most of everything that I have. You can actually, they do make heated eyelash curlers. They used to sell them at Sephora. I'm not sure if they do anymore. And then also, you can just actually put a little bit of your hairdryer on there. And it is beautiful at warming up your eyelash curler, and it works kind of like a curling iron. So it will help really reinforce and keep that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply 2 coats of mascara. And again, I am not, you know, a professional YouTuber, so I am not editing and, you know, saying, I'll be right back, I'm going to apply lashes and mascara. You get to enjoy the amazing faces that I make. I am using Perversion Mascara by Urban Decay. It is one of my absolute favorites, on top of L'Oreal Voluminous, and probably a closey to Makeup Forever Smoky Lash. I just feel like Makeup Forever Smoky Lash, I seem to go through a lot faster. And I loved when I used to get gratis for Makeup Forever when I worked at Sephora. But now that I don't work in like a big box makeup store, unfortunately, I don't get all of those goodies. But the company I work for is nice enough to give us gratis. And I have a little, so I'm actually taking whatever is left on my brush to kind of just hit my bottom lashes. I don't ever really do a lot on the bottom, even though this is a more dramatic eye. That's just my personal preference. Doesn't mean you can't. I do like to, sometimes because my lashes are not great, sometimes I'll actually put the mascara brush on and I'll hold it for like 10 seconds just up in the air, like kind of press back. Not so much that it hits my eyeshadow, but just enough that it might, you know, give me a little bit more oomph. I also shared that I am not a fake eyelash girl on myself typically. I can apply them on anyone else. Myself, it's not as easy. But to be honest with you, I very rarely would go anywhere that I would need my own eyelash, my own eyelashes. So, all right, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna go ahead and do my lip, and then we're gonna come back and kind of make it all perfect. So I'm gonna do my lip, then we'll do the cheeks, and then we'll go from there. All right, so this is Naked by Urban Decay, and I'm gonna do a nude lip today. I draw right on the edge. I do not draw on the outside. But that is, again, personal preference. My lips are fairly normal size, like I'm happy with them. But if you feel like you need balance because you do have to, you know, largen your top lip because it's a little smaller, you can just really lightly on the very edge, right where that kind of the ledge is, right? The edge of the ledge. Apply that. And I like to fill in my lip unless I'm doing kind of an ombre lip. What's nice about these Urban Decay pencils is they're 24-hour pencils and they're waterproof. So that's super nice. And I'm just going to perfect that because I was talking the whole time. Okay, and then I'm actually using a Tarte is like, it's a lipstick, but it's in like a pencil form. And again, this is just one of my nude favorites. Today, I think I'm actually going to start to organize some of my makeup, my kit makeup. All right, so that is that. And then I need a little bit of lip gloss, I think. I thought I had it out, but I guess I did not. So let me find that. Okay. So this is just, again, kind of a nude, because we're going with that whole nude lip. I'm going to apply it right in the center. Okay. Now, one thing I shared a few weeks ago is that I had this amazing makeup artist. Her name was Michelle Carter. I used to work with her at MAC. She is just incredible. And she still lives in the Philly area. So, you know, all of us seem to know each other that worked in makeup, you know, all these years. Somehow or another, we always come across each other. So I am actually just taking what's left over on my brush just to kind of clean everything up. And I'm actually, even though I used a medium coverage foundation, I am going to actually clean up around my eyes with a powder foundation. And the reason I bring Michelle up is because you guys should come here someday and see all my makeup. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. I am just using whatever on my brush, you guys. I am not like a go down. I just want to make sure I blend, right? Blend, blend, blend as your friend. You never, never, never want somebody to see your, to see your neck be a different color. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking MAC Studio Fix, which is a powder foundation. This is just a little bit of powder. I just want to make sure I have a little bit of loose powder. Again, under the eyes is where you're going to actually see any kind of, basically if it lays in your lines and wrinkles, if you're a little older. If your skin's still young and beautiful, you don't have to worry about that. But again, Michelle showed me this trick many years ago. It's something I use all the time, and I meet anyone I meet. So this is a powder foundation. It does come, one of the best foundations in the world, honestly. It comes with a sponge. I usually don't use those, but I keep them. And I'm actually going to go right around my lip line. You can use just a regular sponge. And then I take a little bit, and I want to clean up to make sure this edge is really nice and straight, right? So I kind of leave that there. Same thing over here. And if your skin is normal to oily, this foundation, you guys, I just can't say enough about it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful foundation to use. So you actually use it like a regular foundation. Usually when you apply it, it usually goes on about a half a shade lighter, and then it actually oxidizes and changes to match your skin tone. So again, just kind of cleans up that eye. I'm gonna go over and just blend that out with my crease brush. There's nothing on this, just whatever was left over from before. Okay, and I'm just reinforcing these eyes right now. So I am gonna actually go in and put, you know, a little bit of my highlight in again, just to kind of get that to stand out and blend. Fluffy brush, right? Anytime we want to blend, we use a fluffy brush. And if we want the colors to really stick, we use a flat brush. So I, again, am just going in and kind of, not even with product on, barely reinforcing what, just to really make it oomph. I like that powerful oomph. Cool. So we could go there. And I think that's really, really pretty. And I'm really kind of done, but I'm going to take a little bit of Fix Plus on my brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of this green from Urban Decay, and I'm going to actually take this and just kind of pat it right there in the center, and I'm going to blend it underneath. I'd love to hear, do you guys think this look is absolutely crazy? I'd love to hear in the comments. Or can you see yourself wearing this, you know, with a hot night out with your hubby? All right, so I am going to next, if I only knew, because I stay so organized and then I come on here and it's like I've turned into like a complete disaster. So I'm actually gonna apply my contour, which is gonna start right here at the nubbin, right? Looks a lot different during the daytime, doesn't it? It is more that taupe color, right? So you can see the color of a contour should mimic the color of a shadow, because that's what contour is. It's darkness that's going to help something recede. I'm just going to apply it around my hairline, and don't worry, I will blend it out. I'm going to apply it right around my jawline. That's going to help really define my jawline. And again, think of this look more like you're going out. So if I were going out, it's okay for me to use a little bit more contour, right? Because I'm not going to be in direct sunlight. I would not suggest, if you are going out and going to be in sunlight, that you do like regular daylight and people are going to see you. I would not suggest doing a highlight and a contour unless you do it very, very gently, because it shows up, you guys. I mean, it might look like you have a dirty face. Okay, so we know we sandwiched it should be contour. Then we're going to apply our blush, which for me is, again, just the warmth. I think it's just a really nice warm color. And I take it up around my eye. Actually, whatever's left on my brush, we'll just kind of take it just to kind of blend everything together. And I already have it up there, but you know, I always take whatever is left on my brush for my blush brush and I actually go over my eyes. It just makes everything kind of go together. And then I am going to lastly fix up the edges of those brows, right? Because I told you I would come back to those. So I am going to take, I take this lighter color. I use one for blondes. Now, again, I always say you should go one shade lighter than your natural hair color when you're putting in your brow color. If you have platinum blonde hair, whether it's natural or not, that's going to be a little bit hard. You would just use a blonde. But I'm talking more for brunettes, redheads, even dirty blondes. You don't want to use a dark brown. If you do that, you're going to end up with really dramatic brows. And unless you like that look, I definitely would not suggest it. So lastly, I thought this was like exciting. Some people have asked about lashes. So I thought what I would do is put on a couple individual lashes. So this is a great way that you can add to your look, even if you're not super comfortable with applying overall lashes. And I do have some tips and tricks for how to do that. But hold on, let me clean up my lash glue here. It gets a little gooky, a gooky. I use Duo, which mostly you will find everywhere now, but it actually is a surgical adhesive. So it is not damaging to your eye whatsoever when you take your lashes off. You can find it at Ulta, you can find it at Sephora, you can pretty much find it anywhere. And I think they've actually partnered with a lot of the eyelash brands now because so many people actually started using the Duo. So for lashes. So what I like to do is take, I do it after my mascara. And you take your eyelash, see it has a little bulb on it, and I actually have the glue here. You need the lightest amount of glue. If this is myself, I may blow on it because you want it to kind of dry for a few seconds. If this were someone else, clearly not blowing on it, just kind of giving it a moment so it will dry. This glue does dry clear. So what I'm going to do is actually place it right on the outside. And I'm going to place a couple there because that's really where I want the most of my eye to kind of stand out and flare. So again, super easy, right? You have your mascara already on. You have your tweezers. And I'm going to just do one eye for you guys because honestly, I don't want to waste my lashes because I'm going absolutely nowhere. Meaning I don't want to waste my false eyelashes. You can do as many of these as you want. But again, what's nice about these is you can actually apply them super easily, and you can apply as many as you want. So what you want to do is wait till the lash glue dries. And then I would probably go ahead and put just a little bit of mascara to kind of wiggle them in. And again, this is where if you talk to different people, they may tell you different things. Some people like to apply their mascara after, like they want to put their lashes on and then apply any false eyelashes. Really, that's the kind of stuff that really is like no rules. So again, okay, I need to add my highlighter. Sorry, you guys get to hear my drawers open and close the whole time. But I'm gonna go ahead and put on a little bit of golden highlighter. I'm just gonna use this brush just because I have it here. Right on the cheekbone. I like to take it up. I actually like to take a little bit just across my brow, and you guys can see that it's daylight today, so I actually am doing makeup in front of my window. So you can see all those, you know, like I said, I wasn't using a full coverage foundation today. So I can see all those little things that I don't necessarily like, but they're part of my skin, right? They're who I am. So, and I just want to show you because I know you guys see it all the time. So I thought, what the heck? What the heck? I'm going to take back to my palette, the light color. I don't really ever contour my nose. However, I do have a little fatty nose at the end. So what I'm going to do for you is cut my nose off and thin the bottom portion. This is kind of hard to do, you guys, like looking into the phone camera at the same time. And boy, that looks very dramatic in the daylight time. It's really not. So I'm going to blend a contour down onto my nostrils. The nostrils is such a weird word, right? And then what you want to do is just kind of blend it out. It's supposed to really create a slight illusion. So this isn't something, like I said, that every single person needs. But for my nose, I don't want to do it all the way down because my nose is thinner up top. So really, I'm just kind of hiding that piece of it. All right, so last is our setting spray. So this is just the Lancome Fix It and Forget It. There's so many great ones out there, so I'm not gonna recommend one because I love them all. I'll take any of them. But the purpose of this is actually to set my makeup. It's gonna make it last all day long. And so here it is, you guys, in the daylight. I wanna just get in close so you can see. Green, brown, smoky eye. I did rim the inner corner of my eye as well as underneath. 2 coats of mascara. I go ahead and filled in my brows. I do have a very sheer to medium coverage foundation on. I don't know if you can see those little flaries at the end. I did put a couple individual lashes, nude lip, and a little bit of gloss. And I did not put any blush on, guys. I just put on my the warmth. I just feel like I need a smidgy of color. So I'm gonna add just one quick. All right, and this can be your going out for the night look. So hope you like it. Hope you learned something new. And this is my redemption for doing such a crappy job last night. So I hope you guys like it. Have a great day.